I'm Brian Christner, and this is The Byte, a bite-sized podcast about containers, cloud, and tech.
Welcome back to The Byte, episode number 64. In this episode, we're going to talk about the Brave browser and bringing content control, security, and everything else back to your fingertips, actually to your control, because a lot of the browsers out there, and I'm really focusing on, for example, Internet Explorer and Chrome, they have so much tracking and it's so loaded with ads and everything. Even with ad blockers, it is still quite slow. Safari is a bit better. Firefox is also quite a good browser. I mean, I've switched between browsers, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times this year. And I keep switching back and forth between different browsers. However, the browser that's been default on my machine, on my Apple MacBook Pro for approximately 3 months is Brave. Brave is a relatively new browser, and Brave was developed actually by, his name is Brendan Eich. He's the creator of JavaScript and a co-founder of Mozilla Firefox, so he knows what he's doing around browsers. And Brian Bondy, formerly of Khan Academy and Mozilla. They were the 2 founders of Brave, and it's an amazing browser. I mean, it's based on Chrome, so Chromium, but they rip everything out of it that you don't need for one. They take all the tracking, all the adware stuff, they take that out. Now, by default, it's fast. It's super fast, lean. It is Chromium, so that means the Chrome Web Store still functions with it, which is quite awesome because I use a lot of Chrome extensions. Additionally, by default, it's secure. So they have a security block up, security shields up, it's called, which is built in by default. And this allows you to basically just block all the ad trackers, spyware, etc. It works really well. Actually, it's amazing how well it works because there's a lot of things I didn't realize I was being tracked on. And I used trackers, ad blockers in the past, and they work quite well, but it seems like Brave, it just handles it a bit differently. And some websites don't even notice you're using an ad tracker, which is quite nice. And so Brave as a company is growing. I mean, when they first launched, they already had about 8.7 million active let's back up, 8.7 million monthly active users back in 2019. Now, fast forward to 2020, I didn't find any statistics on how many active users there are, but it's growing quite rapidly from my research. And more features are coming out, and it's just super cool. Let's actually just take a look at it because I'm super impressed with the Brave browser. So let me just bring it up here, and here it is. So by default, you see your Brave browser, and the splash screen or the home screen, you get greeted with different backgrounds. So if I refresh, you can see different backgrounds, and it gives you kind of an overview of not only the ad tracking, but also what it does in the background. So for example, in my particular Brave browser, it says it's blocked 120,000 ads and trackers. Now, what's also quite interesting is the next thing, it says HTTPS upgrades. So Brave actually takes an HTTP request and upgrades it to HTTPS for you. So it kind of encrypts your traffic for you, which is really quite cool. And the final thing, it tells you how much time you save because of these ads and trackers, because your browser will load faster now. It says I've saved 2 hours of my life using Brave, which is quite nice. I don't know how accurate that is, but it sounds good. But I must say Brave is extremely fast. When I compare it side by side to Chrome, I haven't done like really performance measures. It's just like visually, I do see it really fast. I mean, even with the ad blocker on in Chrome, I notice the same site load faster in Brave. Don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but it's quite cool. Additionally, let's see, Brave as a company is actively fighting GDPR infringements. For example, Google is not handling GDPR correctly, and they filed a lawsuit against Google to respect people's privacy and handling the data correctly. They also reported the UK government has been tracking its citizens through like council or government websites, which is quite interesting. And they also opened a report in the US and sent a it to the US government, saying that foreign governments can actually serve ads and execute code directly through your browser just through ads. And they have a whole blog post on this and how that's actually infecting US government computers. And it's called malvertising. Never heard of it before. I'm actually going to look into it because it sounds quite cool. Now back to Brave as a browser. Now sync, something in Chrome and Firefox I like quite a bit is syncing the browser between, for example, my cell phone and laptop. Currently it's still in beta. It doesn't work for Mac yet. It was there when I first signed up, but I haven't seen it come back for a little while, so I think they're still working on it. Something else, you can see this Brave Rewards. And Brave Rewards, what that is you get an opt-in if you want to see ads. And these are ads kind of controlled by Brave partner network. And they're kind of verified as ads that are safe, privacy adhering ads. So you can opt into it, and if you do opt into it, they actually reward you in BAT, which is it's a cryptocurrency, and it's called Basic Attention Token. And as you can see, I've earned 3 cents of BAT, but I think I actually have more. Actually, I have 10 cents if you look at it. So that's over 3 months, I've earned 10 cents, so not very much. But what's interesting about BAT is they allow you to use these BAT, and you can fund it yourself if you want. You can actually tip creators. So if you find somebody on Twitter that said something nice, or on GitHub, or a writer, you can actually tip them through their website and say, hey, I like your content. So it's kind of like a GitHub sponsor where you can sponsor someone. You can actually do it this way. And you can also set it up reoccurring as well, which is also quite interesting. So it's also opt-in. I opted into it just to see what it's all about. The ads are not so overwhelming and not so frequent, I must say. So it's reasonable, considering that they're shutting off all the other ads for you. So it's a Brave Rewards. It's quite good, and I'm just super happy with it. I mean, let's see. Let's open up, BuzzFeed as an example. And you can see right away, if I clicked on the shields, Brave Shields, it shows you the shields are up for this site. It shows you how many items are blocked. Cross-site trackers blocked is 15. It shows you the cookies, and it shows you a completely breakdown of what this website is trying to do to you, which is really quite interesting. I can turn it off for this website, which is quite nice. Because there's a lot of internal tools I'm using. Sometimes it breaks the tool because the linking between the different components breaks. So it's quite nice to have the functionality to be able to turn it on and off. But it's amazing how much faster it loads with it on or off. So let me turn it off, and you see it's loading for BuzzFeed. It takes a long time. If I turn it back on and refresh, you can see, bam, it's quite a bit faster, just by turning it on and off the shields up. So again, Brave browser, I am a huge fan. One of my colleagues, Dan, recommended it to me, and since then I've been a real fan. It's based on Chrome, so again, you can use the Chrome store, you can use your own extensions. I have LastPass and Grammarly and Evernote as extensions, so I use that quite heavily to make sure that I'm spelling things right, etc. And I'm just happy that it's a secure web browser, and I'm not really concerned about ads. I'm more concerned about spyware and, people tracking me that I don't really approve of. So it's, from a security perspective, I quite like it. And the people behind Brave are not only security specialists, they're, co-founders of Mozilla, JavaScript, so they really know what they're doing. And the community seems to be embracing this as well. Check out brave.com and download Brave today and give it a try and let me know. And additionally, check out their blog, because they have a lot of interesting blog posts, not only about the browser itself, but also the research they're doing into how we're being tracked by the various websites. That's all for this episode. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Byte. You can find the show notes at thebyte.io and follow me on Twitter at I Do My Own Tricks.